Over the years, DC Comics has introduced us to an array of formidable supervillains, a trend that intensified notably with the introduction of cosmic beings and the concept of the multiverse. While Earth had its share of major supervillains including Lex Luthor, the Joker, Ultra Humanite, Reverse Flash, and more, it wasn't until the 1970s, during the Bronze Age of comics, that the new gods emerged. Among these celestial adversaries, Darkseid stands out as the arch-nemesis of Superman and one of the mightiest entities in the DC universe. In this video, we will delve into the character of Soulfire Darkseid, exploring his origins and formidable powers. Soulfire Darkseid made his debut in the Death of the New Gods storyline in 2007, which revolved around the mysterious serial deaths of the new gods, beings previously believed to be indestructible. In this particular comic issue, Soulfire Darkseid emerges as a result of his merging with the departed souls of the new gods, a union that amplifies his powers tenfold. We will also take a closer look at the narrative of the arc of death of the new gods, examining the circumstances that led to the creation of Soulfire Darkseid, the extent of his powers, and the repercussions of his pivotal comic book event. If this piques your interest, we encourage you to subscribe our channel and stay with us until the conclusion of this video. Origins of Soulfire Darkseid. As previously mentioned, Soulfire Darkseid has made his debut in the DC comic book storyline known as Death of the New Gods, a narrative created by Jim Starlin in 2007. Jim Starlin is renowned for his work on one of the most impactful comic book storylines in recent memory, Batman: Death in the Family, where the second Robin, Jason Todd, met his demise at the hands of the Joker. Death of the New Gods offered readers fresh insight into the lore of the new gods and introduced new dimensions to their storylines. Darkseid, a despotic ruler of Apocalypse, harbors an ambitious aim to subjugate the entire universe, erasing free will from every sentient being. He rules his planet with unwavering authoritarian control, maintaining an iron grip on power. His most formidable adversary is the planet New Genesis, often regarded as the benevolent counterpart to Apocalypse. The new gods of the New Genesis vehemently oppose Darkseid and dedicate their efforts to restraining his influence and safeguarding their world. The narrative of the death of the new gods unfolds with the mysterious deaths of the new gods, including the forever people of the New Genesis, all orchestrated by an unknown assassin. Recognizing the profound impact these deaths could have on the universe, Superman, with the assistance of Mr. Miracle and Orion, Darkseid's second son, ventures to Apocalypse to investigate whether Darkseid is responsible for these killings. Meanwhile, Darkseid discovers that the new gods were slain through soul extraction, an enigmatic force that has taken their very essence. Among the fallen new gods in Big Barda, Mr. Miracle's spouse, leading him to contemplate using the anti-life equation to resurrect his deceased wife. The anti-life equation assumes a central role in the comic book series. In this storyline, the anti-life equation entity is unveiled as one half of a cosmic being that was sundered in two during the ancient gods' conflict. The other portion of this cosmic entity is known as the Source. Even Darkseid remains uncertain about the true potency of the anti-life equation, though his ambition is to harness it for universal dominion. Eventually, Darkseid acquires a portion of the anti-life equation. In the midst of these events, Metron engages in a discourse with the Source, which divulges that it is accountable for the deaths of the new gods. It explains that these deaths are part of its plan to establish the fifth world, a realm of perfection that will supplant the imperfect fourth world they currently inhabit. Moreover, the Source admits to orchestrating the events of the Infinite Crisis and the resurgence of the multiverse during the New 52 event, inadvertently unleashing the dark aspect of itself, the anti-life entity. Betrayed by the Source and the entity he worshipped, Mr. Miracle demands to die, and which Source grants him that wish, seeing Source's brutality toward his most loyal followers. Metron requests the same thing, and Source terminates him. Afterward, the Source decides to kill the last new god, Darkseid, who in the meantime has taken a serum, giving him access to the power of the anti-life portion of the Source. Soulfire Darkseid was born. Soulfire Darkseid powers. In a bold move, Darkseid imbibed a serum that unlocked the anti-life portion of the Source, endowing him with access to the lost souls of the departed new gods. The formula harnessed the very power that had claimed the lives of the new gods, exponentially amplifying Darkseid's already formidable abilities. By absorbing the 1,000 souls of the deceased new gods, Darkseid aimed to wield unparalleled control over the realms, ascending to godhood. When considering the Source's involvement in the new gods, deaths and Darkseid's already staggering power, Soulfire Darkseid became an indomitable force. Darkseid's formidable abilities such as superhuman powers, genius intellect, telekinesis, telepathy, mastery over matter and energy, immortality, invincibility, and the Omega effect were now amplified tenfold in his Soulfire incarnation. This presented an ominous predicament for our heroes. Recognizing the futility of confronting this overwhelming force, Superman wisely chose to step aside, allowing Soulfire Darkseid and the Source to engage in their cosmic confrontation. The Source sends the ghost of Darkseid's son Orion to fight with Soulfire Darkseid. After a furious exchange, Darkseid realizes that it is not worth it, that it was not meant to be, and lets his son rip his heart out and flees. Superman uses the last of the mother box that was Big Barda's and comes back to Earth, while the Source connects Apocalypse and the New Genesis and creates the fifth world. This cosmic book volume showed the incredible power of the new gods, especially of the Source and Darkseid, who gained an access to the new god souls and the power of the Source, which made Darkseid just for a moment the strongest being in the universe. The Death of the New Gods comic book was not received well by the fans, and even though the comic book served as a prologue to Infinite Crisis, the fact that there were a lot of plot holes in the new god stories was just too much. The Death of the New Gods is practically a forgotten storyline and is regarded as one of the most confusing and below average comic books in the last 2 decades, especially after the last issue was released. Regardless of that, we saw what the Source's powers and the new god's souls can do, especially when it comes to the biggest supervillain in the DC universe. Superman's realization of how strong the new gods are and the creation of the fifth world are also pretty interesting. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully we explained Soulfire Darkseid origins and powers properly, and if you are interested, definitely check out our other videos. Until next time.